من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له واشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له واشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. Assalamu alaikum, my brothers and sisters. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, in Surah Baqarah, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ يَكُونَ الرَّسُولَ عَلَيْكُمْ شَهِيدًا. And so we have made for you believers an upright community so that you may witness over humanity, and then the messenger may be a witness over you. My brothers and sisters, I want to talk about a very important topic relating to the political and social atmosphere around our community, in our society as we live in the West. As you may know, it has been over 700 days since the start of the Gaza genocide. Although this issue has been started since 1948, when we think of justice, justice is in order to have the key to justice, you must need truth. In order to have truth, you must understand falsehood. Allah here states that He has made us, the believers, a community and a witness over humanity, and the Prophet is the witness over us. Allah has sent these prophets since the beginning of our inception to right our wrongs and to guide us the way He wills. And a part of this is that as human beings, we find ourselves slipping off. We find ourselves oppressing each other, and offending each other. And this is very important because right now we are in a very peculiar situation as we live in the West. Similar to Musa, who lived in the Pharaoh's palace, alayhi salam, he had to witness the injustice within his home, and he had to be the one to call it out. And as he asked Allah to allow for his brother Harun to accompany him, our situation here in the West is unlike no other, because we live in a society that revolves around this idea of moral relativism. This is a concept in which morality is just subjective. And this is very dangerous, because when morality is subjective, there is no grounds. And when morality is subjective, there is no objective truth. And if there is no truth, then what exactly are you standing on? Now, subhanAllah, we have all been blessed with Iman to be able to see, but because we have lived here, some of us all our lives, some of us we have moved here, sometimes just like glasses that aren't our prescription, once you take them off, everything becomes a little bit blurry and you need time to readjust. And subhanAllah, I believe that all of us need to be able to readjust. And what I mean by this is the importance of political power from the state, right? Our nation. And we can even connect this all back to the genocide, because all of this connects back to this idea of colonization. I'm sure all of you have heard of this concept and have read about it earlier in your elementary days. Colonization affects everything and everyone. Some of you may know the concept of Orientalism, right? This idea that the East, or the Middle East in particular, is this barbaric people that needed to be saved by the Europeans. When we live in the West, we find ourselves sort of dismantled in a way. And what I mean by this is that we find ourselves with a certain lens that isn't 100% what we need it to be. And what I mean by this is that in Islam, we understand that this divine justice that Allah has decreed, in order for us to uphold this divine justice, we must be able to see it, which is why it is very important to be able to distinguish truth and falsehood. And we understand that in this society, it is dishonest. And I'm going to be very blunt about this. And dishonesty is a trademark of being sort of dunya-centric. And what I mean by this is that when everything around you is all about material, it's all about money, it's all about, not subduing your nafs, it gets to a point where you realize, is any of this even real? And I want you guys to understand that truth exists. We understand truth exists because we are Muslim, and we have been blessed to be able to see this. However, it is important that we allow ourselves the proper time and education to be able to decolonize our minds. No narrative could ever change the consequences of actions because the truth exists. So no matter how much propaganda is in your face, and you will see more of it, especially with recent events, you will see that there will be narratives spun around, and I have no doubt in my mind that our community will also, unfortunately, be attacked, whether that be an actual physical form of violence or more so just being portrayed in the media, which is something we have always dealt with. We live in a society that has a culture that comes from a pathology that cannot interact with the truth. Truth isn't just about words we say, but is the posture of our soul itself. Truth starts long before the tongue moves. Honesty is a covenant in our hearts. And when we have this covenant that Allah has granted us, this will allow you to have the willingness to face reality as it is, right? What do we see right now? We have billions of politicians who have said the same thing. Oh, there's no genocide. There's no famine. Oh, they deserve it, right? But all of us here understand what the truth is, and when we see that it's absurd. It creates this sense of absurdity and frustration, right? And even non-Muslims can see that. Honestly, anyone with a little bit of humanity can see that the lies are right in front of our face. And I want you to understand that they're going to continue to lie to you because they do not believe in objective morality. Because they do not believe in that, they do not have any grounds to stand on. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Nisa, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين بالقسط شهداء لله ولو على أنفسكم. O believers, stand firm for justice as witnesses for Allah, even if it's against yourselves, your parents, or close relatives. Be they rich or poor, Allah is the best to ensure the interests. So do not let your desires cause you to deviate from injustice. If you distort the testimony or refuse to give it, then know that Allah is certainly all aware of what you do. Allah here calls us to justice. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the khutbah, justice can only be done when you understand the truth, which is why it is very important that the Quran and Sunnah exist. The Quran is our gateway to understanding what real reality is and how to go about it. Just as we understand with the Sunnah, there are various ways in which we interact with each other, whether that be relationships, our colleagues, our mother, our father, even down to the tiniest of waking up in the morning and remembering Allah. We have every detail we need, which means that if the blueprint is right here, why are we in the situation that we are in? Which is why I call upon all of you guys to truly sit down for a second and reflect. Reflect on your relationship with the Quran and Sunnah. And what I mean is, what I want you guys to take away from here tonight, before you go to sleep, I want you to sit down just read a page, just one page of the Quran in the language that you know best. And what I want you to do is sit down and really contemplate on those meanings. And any questions you have, you go to those who can answer them. But this is the key, and this will be the only way we will be able to get out of this subjugation. Because understand that not just Philistine, not just the Middle East, not just Southeast Asia, all of these different places where Muslims are being harassed and broken down, understand that there will be no win without us. And what I mean is the West will not save us. The UN will not save us. America will not save us. Because this is our job. This has always been our job, to uphold the truth. And so I ask you all to question yourself. What is your relationship with the truth? How do you uphold it on your day-to-day? What's your relationship with Allah? Do you truly understand that He is aware of all that which you do? And if you can truly encompass this idea and manifest it in your heart properly, so that it is manifested in your actions, I have no doubt in my mind that this ummah will succeed. This ummah will succeed as long as you want it to. And you need to ask yourselves, do you want it to? أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. You know, an interesting connection that I made when trying to come up with this khutbah, I was thinking about the story of Habil and Qabil, Cain and Abel, the two sons of Prophet Adam. And I was thinking about the story and how these two brothers were, these two brothers had a task, right, to make an offering to Allah. And as we know, one of the brothers was very lazy and didn't put any thought into the offering, while the other brother put in his full thought. And in the end, we find out that Allah only accepts from one brother. And so the other brother sat there angry and started to blame Allah and said that, oh, you only accept this due to favoritism and whatnot. And this ended up leading to him killing his own brother. That is how I view this society. And what I mean is, because this society does not stand on any moral ground, it's almost as if we're sitting in an area where everyone's kind of lying to themselves. And if you truly speak to any person on the day-to-day about anything deeper than politics and money, you'll notice that there isn't much there. Which means that we have to be Habil. We have to be the individuals who are able to offer to Allah a proper sacrifice. And that's exactly what Iman is, this sacrifice. That's why Islam means submission. It's because although we may want to party and we want to give in to all of these temptations, we understand that that's not our job, and we don't have that right. That is why this religion is surrounded and encompassed by justice, because indeed Allah is justice. And so I ask Allah to grant this ummah mercy. I ask Him to free Palestine and free Gaza. I ask Him to allow our various of nations to become sovereign and to be let go of the West. And I ask Allah to strengthen our Iman. And I ask Allah to strengthen our relationship with Him. عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون اذكروا الله يذكركم واشكروه يزدكم واستغفروه يغفر لكم واتقوه يجعل لكم من أمركم مخرجا وأقيموا الصلاة.